Now, January 6, 2021 was a historical day. It was the worst crime in American history, in global history, according to certain people. And you had to ask yourself, what do you think that we'll be doing exactly 4 years from now? And we got our answer, and it's better than you could have possibly imagined. Justin Trudeau resigned exactly 4 years from January 6th, the big January 6th. And Trump also doubles and triples down that we are going to absorb Canada and make it part of the United States. This is amazing. And I'm reading you this particular article out of the gate because they are such crybaby lefty weirdos. I don't think he's trolling, okay? But check this out. We're going to look at like the real story in a second. But let's just look at this one really quick because, listen, on January 6th, Trump advocates for absorbing Canada, ignoring sovereignty. Unhinged Trump continues to target the neighbor to the north. Oh my God, he's unhinged and he's targeting them. And you're all, well, is he so unhinged that he beat you politically in every section of the globe to the point where your little poster child, Justin Trudeau, is now having to quit? He's quitting the same day that Trump is like, hey, we'll take over. Your leadership is terrible. It's January 6th, 2025, the day Kamala Harris will certify the election results. Instead of just focusing on that, Trump took to Truth Social to use Justin Trudeau's resignation announcement to again advocate for the United States absorption of Canada as its 51st state. We're going to get into exactly what Trump said later. Right now, we're just, we're kind of gloating at the left-wing coverage of it. Trump's suggestion not only trivializes Canada's autonomy, but also undermines the principles of international diplomacy. What started as a reported joke at Trump, that Trump told Trudeau at Mar-a-Lago while discussing tariffs that he could become governor of Canada if Canada became the 50th state, has now turned into something bizarre. And then Trump put this up on Truth Social. Look at this picture. I didn't even see this, dude. Trump's disrespectful joke now appears to be his doctrine towards Canada, ignoring the distinct cultural, legal, and political systems that define Canada and the United States. Trump has no problem dismissing the preferences of Canadians and, quite frankly, acting like a strongman dictator that he often praises. Oh God, who could have predicted this was going to be their coverage? The questions surrounding Trump's fitness for office won't even take the day off for January 6th. The day election results are certified, Trump exhibits a disregard not only for the Constitution, but for the self-determination of a neighboring nation while sending a signal to the world that he intends to disrespect international norms. Oh my God. This is such middle ground, independent coverage. It's amazing. I love it, dude. I love it. Now let's listen to some independent media actually cover this. Yes, this is a real story. Trump is now suggesting that the United States absorb Canada. Listen, if you can't survive, if we put tariffs in, maybe you should just be a state or a series of states all under one government. Now he's serious about this. This is the greatest story ever, and we're going to get into it right now. And for the record, I support this. I would love if all of Canada became the United States also. And I mean that like not as a, yeah, we're the United States. I mean like, that would be awesome. Let's make one gigantic country. Canada and the United States have never been that different, as long as now you guys can accept Justin Trudeau as the failure that he is and Donald Trump as your master. I'm just kidding. Or am I? Now, Trump pitches a merged U.S. and Canada after Trudeau resignation announcement. This is absolute gold. Nothing should make you guys happier than imagining the deep state people, I'm talking like the globalist deep state people, having to imagine California, Canada, same thing. They call that not a Freudian slip, but just like a understandable. Did you say Canada or California? Or what's the difference? They're like, geography. You're like, what else? Like, nothing. Trudeau and Gavin Newsom are basically the same person, except one of them probably has more kidnapped children in their basement that they enjoy, whipping and making cry. It's kind of like one of those, I need to feed this before I go to eat dinner or else I can't eat. I can't sleep unless I hear a child cry, I can't sleep unless a child cries. You guys can guess which of those two I think is more likely to have kids in the basement. It was Gavin Newsom, you guys. And by the way, if you don't like Gavin Newsom or Justin Trudeau, you should subscribe to this channel. That's how you can let everybody know. I don't like those guys. That's why I subscribe to Jesse on Fire's channel. And I like this video for the exact same reason. All right, so let's get into the details of this thing. President-elect Trump pitched the idea of a merged United States and Canada after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced his resignation, noting there would be no tariffs if the two countries were one. If Canada merged with the U.S., there would be no tariffs, taxes would go way down, and they would be totally secure from the threat of Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. Together, what a great nation it would be. I love this. It's always a pitch of unity, man. You know how the left is going to cover this. This is going to be, they are going to have a field day with this, okay? He is just like Putin, or just like that leader in the 20s and 30s, back in Germany. He just wants to expand. He wants to take over. He is threatening military action. Hilarious, okay? Now, Trudeau announced Monday that he would be resigning before general elections later this year. His Liberal Party is polling poorly as tensions with Trump have risen over the issue of tariffs. So what you're saying is that Trump buried his political career. Is that what we're saying? I mean, aside from the fact that he buried himself, as we're going to get into shortly, but he buried himself, but Trump buried him with the tariffs, right? I think they call that the nail in the coffin, right? Someone needs to take a nail and then nail it into the coffin. I mean, I think that's the correct use of that metaphor. And so who do you think was holding the hammer on that? Anyway, this country deserves a real choice, and the next election has become clear to me. I'm having to fight internal battles. I cannot be the best option. So after Trudeau's announcement Monday, Trump touted the idea that many Canadians would love the idea of being the 51st state of the U.S. I agree. And honestly, I don't think they should be the 51st state. I think they should take all the states in Canada and make them their own states of the United States, right? I mean, they have a very similar political system as I understand it. He said the merger would be beneficial for the U.S. because it would no longer suffer from massive trade deficits and subsidies that it provides to Canada. Justin Trudeau knew this and he resigned. Trudeau has served as Canada's prime minister for 9 years and led the party for 11. He has faced mounting crises, including the resignation of a top minister and a confrontation with Trump's 25% tariff plan, among other issues. Let's continue, or let's consider that, I don't know, maybe there were some other issues with Trudeau, And again, the next part of this video is all about the Trudeau resignation and the things that he did, what he said. We're going to show you the video of him resigning, but let's not get it twisted, dude. This guy, ask a Canadian, ask a Canadian how they felt about the last, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years of Canadian leadership. People don't like being told what to do, man. Bottom line, they don't like being told what to do. Deputy Prime Minister criticized Trudeau in her resignation, and said he pursued costly political gimmicks. Trump trolled Trudeau last month as Canada's governor after they had dinner. He also criticized Freeland for what he described as totally toxic behavior. What else do we got here, dude? So that's Freeland. He was trolling the girl who resigned and said that Trudeau had to go. So with Trudeau's resignation underway, Canada's Liberal Party will be hosting a competitive race to find a replacement. Liberal legislators will host an emergency meeting on Wednesday. Now, I'm serious. I want to know in the comments, do you want Canada as part of the United States? My vote is yes. My vote is yes. Okay, I want everyone to be in the United States if they hold similar values and we don't have to kill anyone to make it happen. Fold yourselves underneath our umbrella. It makes us stronger. As long as we don't have to bomb you into submission. That's not real. That's not a real sink. But if Canadians are like, let's do it, then let's do it. Now let's move over to the story about Fidel Castro's son, a.k.a. Justin Trudeau's resignation, and let's just see what he said and see if we have any funny things to say about it. So I guess we'll start right here with the update on Trudeau stepping down as the party leader and prime minister. Oh no, Trudeau, the leader of the woke free world. It's over. No. Cry me a river, everyone. I really where are all the lefties that have had his back forever? Like where are they? Why aren't they coming out to support him? I thought you guys had his back. No one has your back on that side. They just know how to hate people. They have no ability to defend anyone. They're nowhere to be found when their leaders go down. It's hilarious, dude. So Justin Trudeau, who has led the country for nearly a decade, is giving up leadership of the Liberal Party. He said he would remain in both roles until his replacement has been chosen through a party election. You know what my favorite moment of his entire leadership tenure was when the truckers were doing the trucker, protest, and they shut it all down. They're like, we're not going to go with this. And he was like, I'm on vacation and I can't get to a podium to make a statement. He literally hit out like the truckers. Like this is what the Teamsters used to do. That's why the mafia had so much control of the entire United States, because they controlled the Teamsters union, and the Teamsters, who were the people who drove the trucks around, could just shut everything down, like literally shut down society if they wanted to. And only Canada, they pushed so hard that the Canadian truckers shut it all down. And where did Trudeau go? Biggest national crisis, uprising against the government and in years. He hid. The dude hid. Okay? He left his government post and went to like some undisclosed hideout. Let's listen to this brave leader give his speech about why he's leaving, and then we'll laugh about it.
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Oh, you mean democracy? Hey, Democrats in America, remember that? Remember democracy? Huh? You guys remember that? Let me show you a little clip of someone who does remember that and lit you guys up on CNN real quick. Take a look at this absolute gem right here from Whitney Cummings. I never want to hear anything negative about her ever again. She's live on CNN when she did this. All right, watch this.
2024 election fried our brains. The Democrats couldn't hold a primary because they were too busy holding a body upright. Are we still rolling? Am I off?
Go for it.
It was amazing that the pro-choice party didn't give their voters one when it came to the presidential candidate. Kamala was forced on us so hard you'd think she was patented by Pfizer or Moderna, whichever one's. Oh God, Andy just gave me a very scary look.
No.
Let me be clear though. 2024 was not only negative. The media wants us to believe this country is so divided, but we actually came together a lot this year. Like as a nation, we unanimously agreed that we would rather see J-Lo in a toxic relationship than in concert. We all agree the government totally knows what drones are and aren't telling us. The drones are still up there, and we have no idea what's behind them. No idea. I mean, they're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out that they were made by Boeing. The point is, I think we all agree on a lot of things. And since I only have a minute left live on establishment media, why don't we just say a bunch of things that we know that they'll never cover? Okay, ready, go. Trump Jr. didn't have any silverware in his house. No one thought that was weird? Are we still rolling? Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia put money into Disney, so just know there won't be any girl characters in the next Cars movie. Are we still rolling? This is wild. Okay, why have so many presidents' chefs died? Weird.
She said that Boeing joke is one of the best jokes that I've heard in a long time. They're still up in the sky, so I guess we can rule out Boeing being behind them. Hilarious. And by the way, since I actually just watched a clip of people going, what do you think went wrong as it relates to Justin Trudeau's support in Canada? She mentioned it, actually. She mentioned it. Now, I've heard out of control costs of living and so on and so forth, but I think people should start to consider that maybe forcing medicine down people's throat and telling them they can't do basic freedom things that they took for granted their entire lives may have soured their opinion on your entire party. I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. And then people who protest, they're like, we're not going to do this. They are white supremacists. It's like, yeah, that's not working anymore. Okay. That's not working. People can use their eyeballs, right? Let's continue watching the end of this guy's career because I am enjoying it immensely.
Last night, I asked the president of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
Yeah, you know what's funny is, in all seriousness, I look at that guy and I don't feel the same animosity as I would if I thought he was actually making any of these decisions. Like any of them, okay? That guy is the definition of a sock puppet, okay? The people who really run the world stuck their hand up his little Castro illegitimate child booty and were working his mouth like a puppet, okay? Now, the only person that is in a major leadership role who does not fall into the category that I just described is the big guy. And it's hilarious to watch all the lefties who like, they knew they hated the establishment. They absolutely knew, I was like, I find a lot of alignment with these guys, but they couldn't get there with the big guy. And finally now I'm watching them and they're like, wow, Trump really is this is the best. This is the best thing ever. Like Jimmy Dore loves Trump now. He won't say it. There's no way he'll say it, but he does. He does. Even the Young Turks, dude. I know it's going to break your little lefty hearts when they finally come out and actually just overtly support Trump. But it's going to happen. I'm having Cenk Uygur, good God. I'm having Cenk on my channel day after tomorrow. So you can look forward to that, son. Now, anyway, let's continue with this wonderful story. Let's just read a little bit more about it. And then we are going to get into how Donald Trump is posing that we take over Canada and fold them into the United States and make Canada one big united state. One last note on that idea is this. Do you think that Trump didn't know who his enemies were this whole time? You think that he didn't understand that Trudeau stood directly opposed to him no matter how he acted in person? Trump knew he's his enemy and he just buried him. When Trudeau wanted to come kiss the ring and have a conversation, Trump's all, yeah, how about I slap tariffs on everything that Canada does? All that'll collapse the Canadian economy. He's like, yeah, I know. How's that taste? That's called leverage. And you, sir, are finished. Okay? You're done, Justin Trudeau. Thanks for coming out. Okay, so this is what Trudeau said that I guess this wasn't included in the video. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because I care deeply about Canadians, Mr. Trudeau said as he announced his decision in Ottawa, the capital. His resignation sets off a succession battle to replace him after he spent roughly a decade at the helm of both the party and the country. The upheaval comes as the country is grappling with how best to deal with President-elect Donald J. Trump's pledge to impose crippling tariffs on all imports from Canada on his first day in office. Canada and the United States are each other's biggest trading partners. See, you want to know what that is? That's Trump saying, I tried to play nice and you guys you supported destroying my life, right? Like you guys were on board with these guys prosecuting me, right? Like you never said anything about what they were doing. You never tried to help me. As a matter of fact, you did everything to work against me. So now I feel like maybe all these things I could have done because I was being nice. No more Mr. Nice Guy. You guys want to be a United States? You guys still want to have an economy? You want to see your costs come down? You can come and get underneath our umbrella and stop pretending like you can be your own country. Mr. Trudeau visited Mr. Trump at Mar-a-Lago, his private club and residence in Florida in late November, and his government had been in talks to address the president-elect's concerns about border security in hopes that he would reconsider his tariff threat. Oh, geez. Mr. Trudeau has faced weeks of mounting pressure from inside his party's ranks. In December, Mr. Trudeau's prime minister and finance minister, Chrystia Freeland, abruptly stepped down in a stinging rebuke of his leadership and stewardship of the country. Her resignation incited a growing chorus of voices from liberal parliamentarians asking him to step aside for the sake of the party. So, here we go. So here's what else to know. Keep in mind, this is in the New York Times, just in case. A dark vision. Mr. Trudeau criticized the leader of the Conservative Party, Pierre Poilievre, as having a bleak outlook for Canada. Instead, Mr. Trudeau said the country needed an optimistic viewpoint and his party needed a different leader to confront Mr. Poilievre and the upcoming federal elections. Jesse, what we like most about your content is that you're so thorough in your research. Thank you, you guys. I really appreciate that. You couldn't have figured out how to say Pierre's last name as the leader of the Conservative Party in Canada? As soon as they become an American state, I will learn his name. Until then, the only name I need to know is Trudeau so I can shit on him properly. So Trudeau shut down Parliament earlier, end of an era, blah, 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 blah. Failing confidence. He's been finished since the Freedom Convoy. Simple as that, dude. Simple as that. So there you go, you guys. This is the last image you will see of Justin Trudeau as the leader of Canada. Right? Because now he's a lame duck. Everybody knows he's done. And, it's like, oh, I wonder what he's going to do with the rest of his life. It's like, do you wonder? You guys don't, you think this guy hasn't robbed enough money to live 3 lifetimes? Okay. That's what these people do. That's why he's a puppet of the deep state, is because he is making so much illegal money. Would be my hypothesis, you know, and maybe not even illegal, maybe completely legal, right? Just, you know, ways that they wouldn't talk about publicly because it is legal corruption. You know, kind of like how we do like the pharmaceutical middlemen thing that Trump's calling out. Billions and I can't even imagine how much money he's going to cost them if he actually pulls off getting the middlemen out of the pharmaceutical industry. Now, that is what we got for this video. Look forward to a couple videos I'm going to drop shortly, either later today or probably more like tomorrow. We're going to do this January 6th insanity as more and more comes out about January 6th and the lunacy of these people, the things that they're still saying. And as Kash Patel comes on and more information comes out about the FBI agents that we all knew were instigating this thing, you know, that gets proven objectively. More so even than it has at this point, 20 something odd agents in the crowd, videos of people with earpieces and, no explanation for ramps, all these things that we knew, right? And now it's all going to come out and we're still going to be watching these morons. It's like the Holocaust. Shut up. Chuck Schumer still spreading absolute sheer disinformation, whatever you want, lies about how many people were killed on January. It's unbelievable. They just, with no repercussions whatsoever, they still just continue to lie about this. And it's going to be really rough when the truth comes out over the next I think the first 6 months of the Trump presidency are going to be so devastating to the entire narrative these people have ran with that it's going to be funny, It's going to be so satisfying. I cannot wait. I think they're going to put out information that's just absolutely undeniable. And if they want to hold any level of credibility in their reporting, they're going to have to report on it. And it is going to crush whatever is left of the support from the left. You know what I mean? It's like, you could still hate Trump, but you better find another reason that has nothing to do with January 6th, And I mean nothing, because, man, the people who have been making all their hay on January 6th for the last however many years, one person in particular comes to mind. Hey, how many hours a day do you think you spent researching and talking about January 6th? And as this entire thing comes down, you have to ask yourself, what was the purpose that you had of doing all of that? Hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of talking. If it's just to make money and entertain people, success, dude. You have a lot of followers, and they're like, yeah, he got those guys good. If it was to actually lead to a victory for your side, I would call it an objective, laughable failure, right? The other thing is, if you don't understand how this all works, people, you're not going to convince anyone of anything due to a single incident anymore. You really got to, kind of let them be like, so what are they really upset about? Oh, this is just some stupid thing I could talk about on the internet, like this one thing. You're not going to win anything with one thing. Nothing. I would encourage people to diversify their points of focus from here on out. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, and we got lots more coming this week.